Govinda Swami Shri Gurudev Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Shrimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Shrimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Vamsikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Maharani Ki, Srimati Radharani Ki, Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev, Lady Subhadra Devis Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopalji Ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki, Premanam Sankirtan Jagya Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki, Gaura Premanande. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudev Ki. Jnanatamranda Shagananjana Shankara Chokshana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. Are you still alive? Yes. Sanatan, welcome to Sridham Mayapur, your old home. Now he's completely surrendered in the Griha. He didn't see his parents for 10 years. He gets married, he goes back there, and he's like, yes, sir, yes, sir, 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 yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, yes, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. He didn't do that for us, right? He's like, oh, think about it. I'm trying. It's so difficult, so confusing. He goes back there one day, he's like, yes, sir, ma'am, yeah, yes, 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 yes. Why was that not so difficult? Anyway, good to have you. What a welcome, huh? Wow, why waste time, you know what I mean? You came all the way for some mercy, so why not now? So, I'm very happy to be with you again, after a little bit of a how do I explain it? Mercy? I got to practice everything we were talking about the other night, right? All right, you sit in the back. Don't sit in front of my face. It'll be easier for me. How you doing? It's great. Absolutely perfect. Continue, Maharaj, continue. Don't look this way, don't look this way. Fantastic. Yeah, so we got to speak other night about Lord Shiva. Many nice topics came up. I promised you that we'll continue some reading. So I have everything already highlighted there, and I thought we'll just continue our discussion and see what other type of mercy may come out of that. And we were talking a little bit how Krishna puts us into some challenging, difficult situations. I wanted to say sometimes, but usually most of the time. And that's His mercy, because otherwise we forget. And so we can speak and preach and all of that thing, but then Krishna says, okay, here's some mercy for you. What are you going to do? You're going to grumble and complain? Or you're going to pray for the power of tolerance and, do the best you can? I was thinking maybe, no, I won't say that. I was going to say maybe the demigods cursed me or something. But I'm trying to free you from that fear, so I was not going to say like that. But I'll just take it that not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. So Krishna is ultimately doing all of these things. He's doing directly or he's allowing. And always for his devotee, it's for our best interest, whether we understand it or we don't understand it. So we were reading lastly, and this was actually a nice carryover to bring everyone up to speed on our discussion about the deliverance of Lord Shiva in the Krishna book we're reading from Lord Shiva's appearance day. And Srila Prabhupada was quoting Shukadeva Goswami. He was addressing King Parikshit Das. He said, my dear king, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, those are the principal trio of the material creation. They are able to bless or curse anyone. And of this trio, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are very easily satisfied. But, as we mentioned the other day, also very easily angered. They're handing out great mercy to totally unqualified people, so they have a tolerance level, how much they'll put up with. Isn't it? When they're satisfied, they give benedictions without consideration, and when they're or angry, they curse the devotee. Of course, not devotee of Krishna or Vishnu, but they curse a Shiva devotee or Brahma devotee without any consideration. But Lord Vishnu or Krishna, he is not like that. The Lord Vishnu, Krishna, is very considerate. He doesn't just hastily jump and he considers everything. And whenever the devotee wants something from the Lord Krishna, he first considers whether such a benediction will it be good for my devotee. The Lord never bestows any benediction which will ultimately prove disastrous to his devotee. By his transcendental nature, he's very kind, very compassionate, and very merciful. And therefore, before giving any benediction, he considers whether it will prove beneficial or not for his devotee. So since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always so merciful, even when it appears that he has killed a demon, or even when he apparently becomes angry towards a devotee, his actions are always auspicious for that devotee or for that personality. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Krishna, is therefore known as all good, and whatever he does is good. Prabhupada continues, as for the benedictions given by the demigods, like Lord Shiva, there is a following historical incident cited by the great sages. Once Lord Shiva, he was giving a benediction to a demon named Vrikashur. He was the son of Shakuni, was himself entrapped in a very dangerous position. So Lord Shiva also sometimes gets into some dangerous situation, especially when he's dealing with the demons. Vrikashur was searching after a benediction, and he's trying to decide of those three presiding deities to worship, which one should he worship in order to get his benediction. In the meantime, he happened to meet the great sage Narada, and he consulted with him as to whom he should approach of those three to achieve quick results from his austerity. He inquired of the three deities, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, who is the most quickly satisfied? And Narada, he could understand the plan of that demon. And he advised him, you had better worship Lord Shiva. Then you will quickly get the desired result. Lord Shiva, he is very quickly satisfied, and he very quickly is dissatisfied also. So you try to satisfy Lord Shiva. And Narada cited instances where great demons like Ravana and Bhanasura, they were enriched with great opulences simply by satisfying Lord Shiva with prayers. So that was the advice that Narada gave to Vrikashura. So it just reminded me that when Dhruva Maharaj, when he was going out to the forest, his mother said, if you want all your materialistic desires, then anyway you have to worship the Supreme Lord, Narayana, Vishnu, Krishna. So with a great determination, boldness, 5-year-old boy said, okay, he's so determined to get that benediction, and he had all materialistic desires, mostly. And so he was just heading to that forest, and by happenstance, by coincidence, Lord sends Narad Muni once again on that same path. So here we see Narad, he just appears in many interesting ways and places. And in that case, when he saw Dhruva, he tested him to see what does he really want, what is his determination, how serious is this boy. Then he saw, oh, he had a very, very strong determination, but he had materialistic desire. So what's the difference between Narada going and having some type of materialistic desire or some type of sinful desire, and Vrikashura also going and wanting to fulfill his materialistic desire? So how is it Narada gives Dhruva Vishnu mantra in order to fulfill his materialistic or sinful desires, right? But Vrikashura, he didn't mention Vishnu. He said, no, better you just worship Lord Shiva. So it's very interesting why Narada, for one, gives Vishnu mantra and channels get the mercy of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, and then the other one, right, Prabhupada said here, Narada, he very quickly understood. What was it? Narada could quickly understand the plan of this demon. Well, he had materialistic sinful desire. So why didn't he shower mercy on him or trick him by giving him some Vishnu mantra or Krishna mantra, gradually purify him? So I was just a little bit thinking about that, like what would be the difference? And what came to me was that Dhruva, although he was had materialistic, or you could say selfish, sinful desire, he's just innocent. He's just a boy. Some simplicity, innocence is there, but just some ignorance. Somehow or other, he had cultivated some type of materialistic desire. So there was some simplicity there, perhaps some sukriti and some pious activity from previous birth. And so the Lord understood, okay, he's temporarily bewildered by this materialistic desire, but I'll shower some mercy on him, test him, and then shower some mercy on him. Just say, yes, you just chant Hare Krishna, you just chant this Vishnu Krishna mantra, and you'll get the complete fulfillment of all of your materialistic desires. And Prabhupada said, anything that we do that's not for Krishna's pleasure is sinful, more or less. And so, but that didn't happen with Vrikashura. So we could understand that Narada could understand also, this person is not simple, he's not, if you tell a simple person, tell them the truth, gradually purify them and give them the truth, then they'll basically take it. right? And then I thought about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's going and delivering everybody by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Well, then how come some of those people were not able to get and take up that mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Why were they denied that special mercy from the most merciful, compassionate Lord? And of course the answer was because they had this crookedness, right? This kapati. So if people are that crooked, not simple, then no matter what you say to them, no matter how much you try to benefit them, there's so much impious that they cannot take advantage of that opportunity. So how is it that sometimes people are ignorant, they don't know, but you tell them, immediately they'll wake up. One person recently I just heard, they said, you know, if you tell an ignorant person the truth, if they're simple, they'll immediately accept it and wake up, even though previously they were ignorant. If you tell a crooked person, a kapati, the truth, when they hear the truth, they'll simply become dishonest after that. So they'll just continue in their crookedness or dishonesty and this lack of simplicity. And so, of course, Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. He knows the desires, whether material or spiritual, and when he sends his devotee to, on behalf of himself, then he's going to either give vanchana or kripa based on the adhikar or lack of qualification of the personality. You see, like Prachetas, they worshipping the Lord, they came out, they meet Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva gave them kripa. Right? He didn't, Krishna arranged, okay, Lord Shiva, you go, but he gave kripa, he didn't give vanchana. So the Lord knows in the heart of hearts one's sincerity, seriousness, what is their ultimate motive, and whether we deserve mercy, or whether we can be helped and deserve mercy, or whether there's such a condition that really only heavy lashes or punishment, or if you're lucky, as we read the other day, that Krishna himself will kill you, and then you'll become liberated. And it says that if he doesn't choose to, if you're not one of those lucky few who get chosen by the Lord, that he kills you and liberates you, then you're eternally destined for hell. So interesting motivation there for those who might hear that. So Narada, because Krishna gives intelligence and understanding, especially to his devotee who's acting as a guru, he could understand by that intelligence and faith from the Lord what is the quality of this personality in Vrikashura, and that he was a great demon and had a different type of destiny. So therefore he said, better, oh yes, better for you, you just worship Lord Shiva. He'll very quickly fulfill all of your desires. And Narada even quoted Guru Sadhu Shastri. He said even previously, right, in the Bhagavatam, right, Ravana, Banasura, all these other persons also, by worshipping and satisfying Lord Shiva, were able to achieve the great opulences. So they have some great materialistic desire, therefore they're deserving some type of vanchana, and Lord Shiva is able to do that for them. Because the great sage Narada was aware of the nature of that demon, Vrikasura, he did not advise him to approach Vishnu or even Lord Brahma. Persons such as Vrikasura, who are situated in the material mode of ignorance in tamagun, because of that Shuddha Tama, they cannot stick to the worship of Vishnu or Krishna. They're not steady due to this too much kapatya or tamagun. Let's hope that's not us, huh? And if it is, we better start praying. So after receiving these instructions from Narada, that demon Vrikashura, he went to, what is it? Kedarnath? Kedarnath. And you know that place, right? Pilgrimage site exists up near Kashmir. It is almost always covered by snow. Is your place like this? It's like, there's a lot of snow there? Yeah? So always covered by snow, but for part of the year, during the month of July, it is possible to see that deity and devotees that go there to offer their respects. Have you gone there? Have you ever gone there? No? You went there? You went there to get Lord Shiva's Vanchana. Hopefully not. We took all that trouble to go there to get cheated, you know what I mean? We could have just cheated you here, you know? You didn't have to spend so much money and you didn't have to wait till July. So this Kedarnath, he is for the devotees of Lord Shiva. According to Vedic principle, when something is offered to the deities to eat, it's offered to the fire. Therefore, fire sacrifice is necessary in all sorts of ceremonies. It is specifically stated in the Shastra that the gods are to be offered something to eat through the fire. The demon Vrikasura, therefore, he went to Kedarnath and he ignited a sacrificial fire so to please Lord Shiva. Something. Kripa or Vanchana? Which one is he going to give me? He's devotee, hopefully it's mercy. Thank you. So after igniting, what happened?
He's giving both.
Huh?
Both. He's giving both.
It's definitely mixed. Let's put it that way. It's very mixed. Mixed up. So after igniting the fire in the name of Lord Shiva, in order to please him, Vrikasura, he began to offer his own flesh by cutting it from his body. Now there's a determined guy, you know what I mean? That proves like how seriously a demon he was, right? It's one thing like I'm going to the forest like Dhruva, you know, this guy's cutting off his flesh. That's how greedy he is, you know, for this sinful stuff. This type of worship, so-called worship, is all in the mode of ignorance, tamagun. In Bhagavad Gita, different types of sacrifices are mentioned. Some of the sacrifices are in the mode of goodness, some are in the mode of passion, and some are in the mode of ignorance. So there are different kinds of tapasya and worship because there are different kinds of people within this world. But the ultimate tapasya is Krishna consciousness. That is the topmost yoga system and also the topmost sacrifice. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, the topmost yoga is to think always of Krishna within the heart. And the topmost sacrifice is to perform the Sankirtan Yajna. So many people, they criticize, why all this talk about God in the heart and, you know, why always emphasizing this thing? But it's everywhere. That's why, I'm sorry, you know, it's like this Prabhupada saying, this is, you know, always think of Krishna within your heart. That's where he is, closest to you. If you can't think of Krishna in your own heart, what are you going to think about Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan? How are you going to get there? You get the vehicle to go over there? You can't even find him in your own heart, you know. Where you going? I'm looking for Krishna. Prabhupada says you don't have to go any farther than your own heart to find Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it's stated the worshippers of the demigods, those who worship demigods, they have lost their intelligence. Krishna says, don't get mad at me. Krishna says, as revealed later in this chapter, for Kishora, he wanted to satisfy Lord Shiva for a third-class materialistic objective, which was temporary and without any real benefit. So the asuras, or persons within this mode of ignorance, tamagun, they will accept such benedictions from the demigods. They want stools, so they're going to get stool, right? How's that for a description of third-class materialistic benedictions? In complete contrast to this sacrifice in the mode of ignorance, or tamagun, the Archana Vidhi process for worshipping Lord Vishnu or Krishna is very simple. No flesh required. Just leaf, fruit, flower, water, simple, right? You don't have to start cutting off your skin, you know. Don't be a madman, don't be crazy. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he accepts from his devotee a little fruit, a flower, or some water, which can be gathered by any person, rich or poor. Of course, those who are rich are not expected to offer only a little water. Can't cheat Krishna, you know? He is Bhagavan. Right? You're loaded and you're offering a little water, fruit, flower, leaf. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, a rich man should offer according to his position. But if the devotee, I remember one time I was distributing books and some street person came up, he wanted some book. So I gave him some smaller books. He wanted mercy somehow. And I said, do you have a donation? The people would be like, how you ask this like street person for a donation, right? But if he makes a donation, he gets some benefit. So he's just reaching in his dirty pockets with his dirty little hands, and you know, and then he pulled out like some pennies and some, you know, like just some few coins, you know. And whatever he had in his pocket, he just gave all of that, isn't it? And then you see all of these big wealthy guys in the, you know, Wall Street and the financial district, you know. They're like peeling off $20. They think they're like really great guy, you know. And Krishna's like, you see, what is that? So it's, Krishna understands all of this thing. We cannot cheat Krishna. If the devotee happens to be a very poor person, then the Lord will accept even the most simple and meager offering. The worship of Lord Vishnu or Krishna is very simple. It can be executed by anyone in the world. But worship in the mode of ignorance, or tamagun, as being exhibited by Vrikasura, is not only very difficult and painful, but it is also a useless waste of time. Difficult and painful, but also a useless waste of time. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita says the worshippers of the demigods, they are bereft of their intelligence. Their process is very, very difficult. Oh, I got to do this jiti and this rules and regulations and this and this and that, right? They're going mad because they're afraid if they don't do that, the demigods are going to curse them, right? So this is a very hellish existence where out of fear and anxiety, they're forced into these rituals. And then what is the ultimate benefit that you get out of it? It's completely useless. But if you tell them that, they're so attached to it, and they're so fearful if they don't do it, and they're so addicted to the process And whatever little benefit they've gotten, they're thinking somehow or other this is all going on because of the demigods. But when in actuality, it's because of their own karma. So how foolish is that? Right? According to your karma, you're going to get that anyway. You're thinking it's all because you're worshiping the demigods? So it's all madness. So that's why Krishna says they're less intelligent. Very difficult, all fear, all anxiety, all time, energy, expense, and the result is useless. It's a complete waste of time. And you tell them that, they're like, you know, they don't like to hear that because they're so attached. They cannot adjust themselves. And you're saying, well, Krishna is saying that. He's Bhagavan, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is saying, just surrender to me. You don't have to worship all of these other things. And still they won't do it. So, less intelligent. I'm sorry. Krishna says that. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita says the worshippers of demigod, they are bereft of intelligence. It's not even like less intelligent. They have no intelligence. Intelligence really means spiritual intelligence, right? So materialistic people, right, who know nothing about the spiritual life or what is pleasing to the Supreme Lord, they're bereft of real intelligence, spiritual intelligence. That's why they're always, how do you say, always bewildered, always in trouble, right? What does it say about the Kali Yuga, right? Always cheated, always confused.
Misguided. Misguided.
Always misguided, like Adam used to be. So this process, their process of worship is very difficult. It's painful, a useless waste of time. And at the same time, whatever little result they get is flickering and temporary. So those who are intelligent, those who are wise, they don't bother their head with all of this stuff. If we're simple and you hear that, then Krishna will give you intelligence and faith to accept that instruction. If we're not simple and we cannot hear, Krishna says you're lost. And then when you try to tell, they don't want to hear, that means they're crooked. That means they're dishonest people. Right? So Sanatana's bowing down to the dishonest, crooked-minded people and saying, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then the guy's privately saying, I can't stand this kid, you know? Completely frustrates me. Isn't it? They don't like each other. Only for the mother they're tolerating each other. This attachment to Mataji. 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 Nothing against women. Nothing against women. I always have to say that, you know, because they've been programmed. I feel offended. I feel offended by that. You have to change what that says there. Everyone's offended. Right? Nowadays, everybody's offended and everybody's a victim. Right? So if you feel offended and you feel like you're a victim, who's doing this to you? So it just creates this quarrel and fighting and conflict and disagreement, isn't it? It's manufactured and everyone's so stupid. It's like, oh, you know, I feel offended. So Vrigasura was offering his own flesh into that fire. Thank God it was cold out. That's another point. He continued that sacrifice for 6 days. And then he was unable to personally see Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is very easily satisfied, right?
flesh.
He's putting own flesh for 6 days. Lord Shiva's like, this guy's crazy. This guy is crazy dude, you know. I'm usually like throwing stuff out, but not this guy is crazy. Even Lord Shiva's like, I better stay away from this wackadoodle, you know. So he thought, okay, if I throw in all this flesh for 6 days or so, I should be able to see Shiva, Lord Shiva, face to face. Because I got a benediction to ask from you. Wow. I guess Narad Muni had it right with his nature, huh? Prabhupada said this is another contrast between demons and devotees. A devotee is confident that whatever he offers to the deity in full devotional service, loving devotion, is accepted by the Lord. They automatically know. Right? It's like, well, how will I know? Because you're peaceful, happy, and satisfied. How's that? Right? You're judged by the results. That's how you'll know. What are you expecting? Krishna to come down and play a song for you? Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva. Krishna, can you play that song? Like, what's he taking? Requests? Right? We've been a demon since time immemorial. Now we're telling Krishna to play certain song for us. You know? Madness. A devotee is confident that whatever he offers with loving devotion to the Lord, it is accepted by the Lord. But a demon, he wants to see his worshipful deity face to face, so that he can take directly benediction from him. Right? So devotee like, you know, unless Gurudev tells me face to face, I'm not doing nothing. Get Gurudev here and then I'll do what you're telling, you know. Like face to face, then I'll do something. Right? And then devotees are like, but didn't Gurudev tell you this, and that? It's like, what are you, my guru? Are you my guru? A devotee does not worship the Lord for any benediction. Therefore, a devotee is called akama. Free of desire means materialistic desire. They're not looking for any materialistic benediction or fulfillment of any type of materialistic desire. They're free of that desire. A non-devotee is called sarvakam, or desirous of everything. Like, why stop there, you know? Juve had like a couple of requests. We're like, we got a list that Santa Claus can't fulfill. Why stop there? So sarvakama means all desirous, endless desiring of everything. On the 7th day, the demon Vrikasura decided that he should cut off his head. This guy's extreme, huh? All right, I'll cut off my head and offer that to satisfy Lord Shiva. He got to hand it to him. He's determined, man. But can you imagine the strength of his sinful desires that he's willing to go to this point? So thus he took a bath in a nearby lake. Without drying his body and his hair, he prepared to cut off his head. According to Vedic system, an animal who's offered a sacrifice has to be bathed first, and while the animal is wet, then is sacrificed. And of course, those sacrifices are for those who are demons. When the demon, or those who are going to be liberated, that's another point, right? When the demon was thus preparing to cut off his head, Lord Shiva became very compassionate. He throwing the flesh 6 days, it's like, guy's nuts. Now he wants to cut off his head. Okay, let's save this guy from his insanity, his misery. And that is the symptom, this compassion, is symptom of the quality of goodness. Lord Shiva's called Trilinga, a mixture of those three material qualities. Of course, his wife is Durga, and therefore his manifestation of the nature of compassion is also a sign of the quality of goodness. This compassion, however, is also present in every living entity. The compassion, all these modes here are mixed. It's not the pure this or that. It's mixed. Goodness, passion, ignorance. It's predominantly tamagun, predominantly rajagun, predominantly sattvagun. But because we're moving in this world, there's some mixture. So this compassion, it says, what is it? Is present in every living entity. The compassion of Lord Shiva, it was aroused, it manifested not because the demon was offering his flesh into the sacrificial fire, but because he was about to commit suicide. This is the natural compassion. Even if a common man sees someone who's preparing to commit suicide, he will try to save him. And he does so automatically. Of course, some people, they go to jail because they're telling people to commit suicide, right? This means big demon, right? No compassion. Therefore, when Lord Shiva appeared from the fire, he tried to check or stop the demon from committing suicide. It was not done as a great favor to him. It just common compassion came out. Not because, okay, now I'll go and fulfill his benediction. This was just a natural response. Lord Shiva's touch saved that demon from committing suicide. His bodily injuries immediately healed, and his body became as it was before. Then Lord Shiva told the demon, my dear Vrikasura, you do not need to cut off your head. You may ask from me any benediction you like, and I shall fulfill your desires. I do not know why you wanted to cut off your head to satisfy me. This is bizarre. I become satisfied even by offering just a little bit of water. Actually, according to Vedic process, the Shiva Linga in temple of form of the Lord Shiva, the temple is worshipped simply by offering Ganges water, because it is said that Lord Shiva is greatly satisfied when Ganges water is poured upon his head. And generally, devotees offer Ganges water and the leaves of the bilva tree, which are especially meant for offering to Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga. The fruit of this tree is also offered to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva assured Vrikasura that he's satisfied by a very simple process of worship. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Haribol. Welcome, welcome. So Lord Shiva assured him, very simple process, just offer some Ganges water. Why then was he so eager to cut off his head? Why was he taking so much pain by cutting his flesh, his body, and offering it into this fire? There was no need for such severe penances. I guess it just shows how unintelligent these people really are, or how greedy they really are. There's no need of such severe penances. Anyway, out of compassion and out of sympathy, Lord Shiva prepared to give him any benediction that he liked. When the demon was offered this facility by Lord Shiva, he asked for a fearful and abominable benediction. The demon was very sinful, and sinful persons do not know what sort of benediction should be asked from the deity. Therefore, he asked Lord Shiva to bless him with such power that as soon as he would touch anyone's head, it would immediately crack, and then the man would die. Imagine you, after all of that, it's like, what do you want? I just want this ability to crack people's head and kill them. You can ask anything, right? And he's asking for this type of thing. We're not dealing with a very intelligent dude, you know what I mean? He's not a very smart demon. And we'll find that out later on. He just wants power that as soon as I touch someone's head, it just immediately cracks, and then the man just dies. The demons are described in the Bhagavad Gita as Dukritis, Dushkritis, or miscreants. Kriti means very notorious, and when Du is there, it means abominable. Instead of surrendering unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, the Dushkritis worship different demigods to derive abominable material benefits. And although the Dushkritis, they have brain power and merit, I don't know about this one, although they have brain power and merit, their merit and brain power are used for abominable activities. Sometimes, for example, materialistic scientists invent a lethal weapon. The scientific research for such an invention certainly requires a very good brain. But instead of inventing something that is beneficial to the human society, they invent something to just accelerate death and destruction, which is already assured to every man. They're gonna die anyway. They want to do it prematurely. They need to get to this 8 billion down to about 500 million. They need to do it soon. So they have very good, it's like this example of the snake, but it has like a jewel on its head. So they're very envious, right? But the jewel on the head, right? Very even more dangerous. So they have very good intelligence, but because of that, they're capable of creating more death and destruction. They cannot show meritorious power by inventing something which can save men from death and suffering. Instead, they invent weapons which just accelerate the process of death. That's why this is a battle of good over evil. Those who believe in God and the God-given rights of every living entity, and those who are against God, who are demons, they just want to create always death, destruction, division, hatred, quarreling, hypocrisy. This is really the work of very demoniac people. Similarly, Vrikashura, instead of asking Lord Shiva for something that's beneficial for the human society, asked for something very dangerous to the human society. Lord Shiva is powerful enough to give any benediction. So the demon could have asked something that was beneficial from him, But for his personal interest, he asked that anyone whose head that he would touch with his hand would at once die. So Lord Shiva could understand the motive of this demon. And he was very sorry that he had assured him whatever benediction he liked. He could not withdraw his promise, but he was very sorry in his heart that he was to offer him a benediction which is so dangerous to the human society. So as devotees of the Lord, especially Durga, Maya, Lord Shiva, they don't want to give vanchana. They don't want to cause any type of disturbance or pain to any living. They're devotees. But because these people deserve some type of punishment, some type of cheating, so they give it, but they don't like it. They don't like having to give vanchana. They understand it, they understand the purpose of it, but they don't necessarily like it at all. They'd rather everyone would just surrender to Krishna and cooperate, be peaceful, happy, benefit yourself, your family, your community. So he felt very sorry that this person is like this, is asking like this, and that he assured him that whatever benediction he liked. It's almost like a thankless task, right? He has to assure them, he has to give them faith that he's easily satisfied. And he said, because you're satisfied, then I have to give you this benediction. So if you look at it from a Parvichar point of view, he assured him, he was sorry that he assured him whatever benediction that he liked. So it almost looks like he made a mistake. Like why would he do that? And say, oh sorry, I shouldn't have said like that. So it looks like he made a mistake. But really he's sorry that this person is so unfortunate. And also that he has such a job or service that he's like forced to put this person into this type of a difficult situation because of his compassionate devotee nature, but understands why. Devotees of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, they never ask any benediction from Lord Vishnu or Krishna. And even if they ask something from the Lord, it is not at all dangerous for human society. That is the difference between the demons and the devotees, or the worshippers of Lord Shiva and the worshippers of Lord Vishnu. So while Shukadev Goswami was narrating this history of Vrikasura, he addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Bharata, referring to King Parikshit's birth in the family of devotees. Maharaj Parikshit was saved by Lord Krishna while in his mother's womb, and later he could have asked Lord Krishna to save him again from the curse of that Brahmana, but he did not do so. Devotee, you want to kill me? Kill me. You want to save me? Save me. You know what's best. You know past, present, future. So they're not asking for anything. Sometimes devotees, they ask, can you pray for this person that they can survive this, or that they can go through this, or that they can achieve this, or overcome this and that. And to be nice, we say, yes, we'll do, right? Then they feel like a little pacified, right? But actually, why would you pray for something if Krishna wants to do something else, right? Krishna's like, maybe he wants to kill you and give you a better birth in the next life, where you can start fresh with a better opportunity. So we're just like, Krishna, please keep him here. Please keep him here in that horrible body, in that horrible situation, where he can barely do anything spiritual. Right? Please keep him alive so he can commit more sinful activities. It's like a foolishness, right? So Krishna, he knows what's best. So the only prayer is, Krishna, you know what's best. You're going to do what you're going to do. Your will is supreme. So why will devotee pray something that could possibly be opposite of what Krishna says is best for us? Does that make sense? Sometimes I was like little simple. Someone said, pray for this person that they won't die in this surgery, So all of a sudden I'm like, Krishna, please, make this person not die, And it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, what if I want him to die? And I realized, like, what's the point of my praying for that, It's kind of foolishness, But for people who are, materialistic and sentimental, yes, we'll pray for you. Yes, no problem. We'll pray for Grandpa's doll. We'll get all the devotees to pray for Grandpa's doll. Maybe it'll stay on the rest of that body. Who knows? Maybe you go home and it's already missing. First thing he'll do is he'll go home and say, Grandpa, can I see your feet? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Grandpa will be, it's your fault. Had you come home, I would have been able to keep that toe. And then your whole life you're like, oh my God, I'm the cause of Grandpa losing his doll,
Grandpa's limp.
Huh?
Grandpa's limp.
Yeah, he's going to be limping around. Then he'll curse you. You also should limp like me. And then he's like this, and then he's like this. It's all going on in the name of religion, isn't it? How do we get sidetracked so badly? It's amazing. So devotee, Prabhupada says he could have asked Lord Krishna to save him again from the curse of the Brahmana, but he did not do so. The demon, however, wanted to become immortal by killing. Again, everyone wants to live forever, right? Like Hiranyakashipu, right? They're always thinking about how to, because they know there's a little problem called death, disease, and old age, which is going to end the show sooner rather than later. So all of them, especially if you have money or power, right? It's like, how do you extend your life? Didn't Walt Disney, he's going to freeze, they put them like in a refrigerator, right? So you just like keep the body on ice, and then when they figure out like how to cure the disease, you just, put some neural link or something into the brain, chip through the ice a little bit, try not to hit any, oop! Try to not touch the body too much, but they're very much always trying to live forever, because this is the greatest fear, Prabhupada says, right? This idea that everyone will have to die. Then that fear means you'll go to any length not to have to die. They don't believe in the next life. They don't believe the soul is eternal. They're not preparing themselves for a better future from a spiritual point of view. Therefore, they are gripped by this fear and anxiety of death. But devotee even welcomes it, right? I remember we have our apartment in, of course I'm not a devotee, but when I looked out the apartment in Krishna-katha, right, it's a graveyard is there. And everyone's like, sorry for the view, I said, no, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Every time I look and see that graveyard, it reminds me death is coming very soon. So then take advantage of your chanting and praying, right? No problem. So he wanted to be immortal by killing everyone else who was a threat to his life. If I perceive threat, you're a threat, then I'll just crack your head and kill you, then I'll live longer. Am I simplifying it too much? We're getting to the essence, isn't it? No flowery language, it's just, it is what it is, right? I'm sorry, I'm not a scholar, I'm just seeing it for what it is, you know? I don't know how you make it flowery. He wants to crack people's head and kill them, you know? It's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? So the demon, being very, very sinful, he immediately decided that he would use this benediction offered by Lord Shiva to kill Lord Shiva himself and take away Parvati, or the wife of Lord Shiva, for his own personal enjoyment. That's why it said unlimited desires, right? So this is crazy. Let me just use the same one who gives me the benediction. I'll put on his head and crack his head and kill him, then I'll steal his wife. Is there another way to say that? For his personal enjoyment. He immediately decided to place his hand on the head of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva then was put into a very awkward position because he was endangered by his own benediction to the demon. It happens like this, right? You help the demons, they become your worst enemy. Right? Even they'll try to kill you. So it's very risky business, right? So sometimes you're put in a very awkward position, you try to help them, you give them some benediction, some opportunity, and then you end up being in a dangerous position for the same person that you tried to previously help. And this is the instance of a materialistic devotee's misusing the power that was derived from that devotee or demigod. So you got some benefit, you got some power, you got some opportunity, you got this and this and that. Now you're going to use it selfishly, even at the expense of the persons who actually put you into that position or allowed or prayed for you to be in that position, right? So without any further deliberation, the demon Vrikasura approached Lord Shiva to try to place his hand on Lord Shiva's head, and Lord Shiva was so afraid of him. I said, this guy is crazy. Lord Shiva was so afraid of him that his body trembled, and he fled from the land to the sky, from the sky to other planets, until he reached the outer limits of the universe and above the higher planetary systems as well. Lord Shiva fled from one place to another, but the demon Vrikasura continued to chase him. So how do we understand that Lord Shiva, the topmost Vaishnava, is trembling in fear and running around the three worlds to somehow avoid this demon that he gave this benediction to? How do we understand that? How would you answer that? You could say that Lord Shiva, because he's also in material world, he's also showing that material world means a place of fear, anxiety. So even such great personalities can also be affected by this heaviness of this material elements in the material world. And also to show that Lord Shiva is ultimately depending on his protection from the Supreme Lord Bhagavan, Vishnu, Shri Krishna. So if he's not in that position as common man, then he's showing that, you see, even Lord Shiva is a das, is a servant, is depending on the Supreme Lord as his protector. That's one way you can look at it. Any other ideas about that? He's so afraid of them, his body is trembling, and he fled from the land to the sky, from the sky to other planets, until he reached the outer limits of the universe, above the higher planetary systems. The Lord Shiva fled from one place to another, but the demon Vrikasura continued to chase him.
So Gurudev, I also thought about it, and only like it came to me one thing, that it is like Arjuna, he also was under the Yoga Maya, and he also was feeling like fear, like his bow, he like dropped his bow. So the same way, because it's Krishna Lila, somehow Yoga Maya influencing Lord Shiva, and he is under this condition.
Yeah, we just said that. Pretty much same. Right, to show that everyone in the material world is affected by this fearfulness, to show that even such great personality knows where is the real shelter and protection, and also to show those who consider Lord Shiva to be the Bhagavan, that even he is in some type of compromised position, just like when Krishna bewilders Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma got carried away, right? Sometimes happens. And then Krishna had to teach him a lesson and to bewilder him. And then he had his prayers where he said that, you know, now I understand who is God, who is Bhagavan, who is the Lord. We are all just das. So sometimes even for the greatest personalities, Krishna puts them into situation so that they will admit that thing in front of the world for eternity. So this fighting back and forth, who is the supreme God, who is superior, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they're saying in their own voice, in their own actions, their own prayers, their own statements, who do they consider to be the supreme? Who do they consider to be their ultimate protector? So it clarifies this point. So this bickering back and forth and arguing who really is avatari is meaningless. So it ends the misunderstanding, the misconception, so that it becomes very clear, this distinction. That's why it says it's aparad to consider Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, demigods to be on the same platform. They are all under material nature, dealing in the material nature. Krishna transcendental to the material nature. So to equate the two is aparad. So who better to explain that misconception but Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma themselves? But when I first read that, I was thinking Lord Shiva is dealing with all of these crazy people, demons, right? All demons, this is his job. So now all of a sudden he's met this one who, you know, is so bad that he has to run away fearfully. Arjuna is so scared and bewildered he has to drop the bow and slipping from his hand, right? Like you said, right? So there's always instructions with that. So when there's apparent contradiction, it's very nice to try to understand and to think and pray and refer to different descriptions, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra that explain those apparent distinctions or differences. There's a reason for it. And then also here it says the predominating deities of the other planets, such as Lord Brahma, Indra, Chandra, all the different persons, they could not find any way to save Lord Shiva from this impending danger. So even he's going to all these other demigods, including Lord Brahma, and none of them are proving on the other side that they could actually protect him. So it's just this very strong lila or statement to establish the difference between the Supreme Lord Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and all of the other demigods. At last Lord Shiva approached Lord Vishnu, Krishna, who's situated within the universe on the planet known as, now within this universe, on the planet known as Swetadvip. So Swetadvip is the local Vaikuntha planet. The local Vaikuntha planet. Beyond the jurisdiction of the influence of the external energy. It's like some country has like a consulate, right? So the consulate's sitting in another country, but they're not under the laws of that country. So it's a material example, but that, because Krishna coming here and trying to teach about that Vaikuntha planet, then, you know, he stays in his own dham, even here. He doesn't say, well, I need a place to stay tonight, you know, maybe I'll go to Holiday Inn or something. Right? He brings his own hotel wherever he goes. Traveling hotel. With everything equipped. Nothing missing. Everything he's going to need to enjoy his leelas, everything is there. No extra charge. So, that place, local Vaikuntha planet, check in with your local Vaikuntha planet for further details. It's beyond the influence of the external energy. Lord Vishnu, in his all-pervasive feature, remains everywhere. So everything is Krishna's energy, right? Superior, inferior, eternal, temporary. Krishna says it's all my energy. Body, mind, and soul is my energy. Manifesting in a different way. I'm the controller of all of my energies, directly or indirectly. That is the all-pervasive nature of the Supreme Lord. But wherever he remains personally is the Vaikuntha atmosphere. So we're talking about the Bhagavan versus Brahman. So wherever the Lord is staying personally, wherever he stays, he automatically is creating this Vaikuntha atmosphere. I don't want to make any rasa bas, but I remember this one. You remember this guy, Gaddafi? Yeah. Huh? Right, Libya, right? Libya leader, Moha, what was it? Muhammad. Yeah. Huh?
They say Muhammad. Muhammad.
Anyway. I forget the first name, but Gaddafi, everyone knows what we're talking about, right? The guy in charge of Libya. So what happened was that when he go to the United Nations, right, United Nation headquarters in New York, so when he would go there, he would set up a tent outside of the United Nations and he would just stay inside the tent. So he's trying to create Africa or Libya, right, in New York at the United Nations. So this is, you know, this is, I don't want to say Rasa Bas, but this is an example of how people think that they can just, you know, create a total situation which is just like home. Just like home. In Bhagavad Gita, it's stated that the Lord remains. You have patience?
Yes.
In Bhagavad Gita, it's stated that the Lord remains within the heart of all living entities. Oh, there it is again. As such, the Lord remains within the heart of many low-born living entities as well. But that does not mean that he is low-born. So wherever he remains is always transcendental and transformed into Vaikuntha. So then there's a question, well then if the Lord remains within the heart of even the low-born person, then why is that not transformed into Vaikuntha atmosphere? How do you explain that? Desire. If you want the desire to be in that atmosphere, then you have to surrender to Krishna. If you desire to not remember and not to be in that atmosphere, then you stay outside. Isn't it? Everything based on desire. So the planet within this universe, known as Svetadvipa, is also Vaikuntha Loka. It is said in the Shastra that residential quarters within the forest are in the mode of goodness, residential quarters in the big cities, towns, villages are in the mode of passion, and the residential quarters in an atmosphere wherein indulgence in forced sinful activities, illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, that predominates in the mode of ignorance. They have a saying, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So all the sinful activities, everything's available there. And whatever happens there, whatever we did there, just don't tell anybody about it. Basically, that's what it means. Whatever happened there, stays there. Right? Tell that to Krishna, who's the witness and the judge, right? Don't tell Krishna. The residential quarters in a temple of Vishnu, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, that is Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha atmosphere. It doesn't matter where the temple is situated. The temple itself, wherever it may be, is Vaikuntha. Similarly, the Svetadvipa planet, although within the material jurisdiction, that is also Vaikuntha. So if there's loving devotion, Krishna comes and manifests there in temple, then that place becomes Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha atmosphere. If no love and devotion, no faith, no service, no surrender, no bhakti, and you think Krishna's just standing there in some form on the altar, bronze or, how do you say, the stone? You think Krishna has nothing better to do? And he's just standing there watching and everyone's walking by ignoring him? How long is he supposed to stand there? So Lord Shiva, finally he entered into Svetadvipa Vaikuntha. And in Svetadvipa there are great saintly persons who are completely freed from the envious nature of the material world and are beyond the jurisdiction of these four principles of sinful activity. They're beyond the four principles of material activity. Dhamma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Anyone who enters into that Vaikuntha planet never returns to the material world. So we have to make such a temple that is like Vaikuntha. Right? If we want to be in Vaikuntha consciousness, we have to have the right association and the right people who have the same desire, who want to transform that place into Vaikuntha. That's our challenge. Do we make this place Vaikuntha by our quality and quantity of our service, so much so that we'll want to stay in that place and consider it a Vaikuntha atmosphere. And when people come there, do they also feel transformed by Vaikuntha atmosphere? Just having a theoretical Vaikuntha is not the real Vaikuntha. Right? You know, this is the Dham. Welcome to the Dham, welcome to Vaikuntha. Right? And everyone's doing power politics, running after money, power, followers, sense gratification. Got to build another house here in Mayapur, all the brahmacharis. Right? It's all materialistic. Where's your house, Maharaj? You have a house? You don't have a house? What kind of brahmachari are you? Didn't they train you here properly? Just get to pump some gasoline, you know, do any menial service, you know. Get some money, by hook or by crook. Do you have a motorcycle? No motorcycle? He's not trained properly here. Do you have Rolex? No Rolex. How many cell phones do you have? 3, 4? 2. Oh, you got 2. We'll talk about that later. So Prabhupada said, create such a place that when people come there, they'll want to live there. Right? You have to think, we're trying to break the attachment to Maya. Maya family. Maya, how do you say? Samsara. If you just have another version of Maya, Samsara, why will they leave their family? At least they know those members of Maya, you know. Or I have to relearn how to deal with these people who are in Maya, you know. I'll deal with those people who are in Maya. So it's supposed to be something different, isn't it? That's the challenge. Just putting a building there and waving some incense, ringing some bells, Prabhupada calls it joint mess. He's telling about the Chaitanya Math. Right? They're very expert at just getting some bogue, ringing the bells, and calling for the joint mass. So they cannot create Vaikuntha atmosphere. They cannot preach. They don't have, Prabhupada said, they don't have the intelligence or the simplicity or purity to actually preach. Or here you have to have a bridge preaching program. So why don't we leave the rest of the story for the next time? What do you think? I think that's enough. This way you'll come back to try to find out what happened. If I tell you everything, then you won't come back. Now you're like, oh, what actually happened? So, like they say, you know, last thing we saw was Lord Shiva trembling, flying in the sky on the outer skirts of the universe, right? Being denied by all the other demigods, including Lord Brahma and Chandra, Indra. Finally, lastly, appealing to Lord Vishnu, Krishna, in Vaikuntha. He was in his localized, local home away from home. But they say this is like a home away from home. Of course, he brings his whole home there, simultaneously going on. It's not like here, like you take your stuff from home, you put it over there, and there's nothing left there. He takes everything from there, puts it over there, and both places are fully stocked. No loss. You take your frying pan from there and put it over here, there's no frying pan there. Just to put it like in simple terms for you know? And then in manifesting in all of the planets, all of the universes, which are unlimited, is even more than Holiday Inn Express. How far can they go? Unlimited universes, unlimited Sweta Dreeps, unlimited Vaikuntha planets, local and perpetually manifesting. No end to it, right? How do you wrap your head around that? I'm trying to put faith in all of that. Yeah, good luck. Any questions or points? Everyone good? Yeah?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Haribo.
Yeah, so,
You look more peaceful.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Sometimes better not to say much, you know?
So I had like 2-3 questions. So the first, the most important one I want to ask right now. So like, it's that. So right now, like, ever since like you gave me the more clarity, you know, like in previous classes about the family attachment and all those things, I did get clarity on that. But you know, like still right now, what I've been thinking, like my mind is telling me that I should right now go back to Pune, like not for family attachment thing, but I want to like figure out something more, like some entrance exams I want to give, you know, maybe to do higher education.
You want more education in the matrix of the Maya's world?
That's what I have been thinking for a long time. Like I want to.
You want to get more stupid? You want to increase your stupidity? Doesn't say all the benedictions that are offered, right? It actually degrades them and doesn't benefit them. So how will you be benefited?
Benefit in the sense like that I could have a even better career, like.
You better stop praying to Lord Shiva, Baba. You might be in the wrong place. This is the school of Sanatan Dharma. This is the higher education class. How to see it in Tattva Vichar platform instead of theoretical platform or sentimental platform or religious organization platform. That training is going on here. Sorry to disappoint you.
Just wanted clarity, like so. I was thinking that what to do, like once this gets.
Look, anytime you get education, you put you and your family in heavy debt. Okay, we had our other friend here, right? The father wanted to pay for more and more and more education, right? And the boy's telling, Father, I hate school. I don't want to go to school. I'm up to here with education. If you just save all of that money and just invest in one business, and I'll use the business degree I already have. He said, no, I won't give you one paisa. Only I'll give money for higher education. So think about that. So he basically, it's like central banking system. They're just sucking you into debt that you can never get out of it. So then you just go more and more and more into debt. Now the family owns you because they invested so much, right? And then no matter how much education you have, if Krishna wants to make you poor, you're going to be poor. You can have 5 degrees with $1 million of debt and still be poor. And if you're meant to somehow get some material wealth or material, opulence or whatever, it will automatically come to you. Why you think it depends on your education? So many people, right? Steve Jobs, many of them, they just dropped out, right? Zuckerbucks, whatever that guy's name is. He also dropped out. Of course, all of their companies were given by the United States military. That's a whole nother class.
That's the evening class.
That's many evening class. Project Gladio. So, yeah. So you get all this education, then you get in the company. You see, the people teaching in the school usually are people who couldn't actually make it in the real world. Right? They failed. They have some theoretical, academic kind of understanding of business and never could make a dime, Most of them. And those who are very successful, they're being successful doing their business, right? Sometimes someone may come and give like a guest appearance or some pep talk or something like that, right? But I'm saying full-time academics, they mostly never had a job in their life. So they have no idea how to work and how to do a job or how to start a business, right? They're just teaching academically, right? For the most part. So they basically fail. It's like the people like in politics, right? They want to be in Hollywood, but they're too ugly. So they go into politics instead. So it's like second-class Hollywood. Right? And they're dumb. They're really dumb people. They just get paid off by the various terrorist organizations. Maybe you could just find some well-wishing terrorist organization just to finance you, you know what I mean? Tell them a sad story about your grandfather's dog, I'm sure some terrorists will have sympathy and compassion on you. You're probably better off than this concoction about more education. Ask all of the engineers from India who are all coming back to India. This place is going to be, in America, they're being flooded by illegal aliens. The engineers coming back from America after their brainwashing in America, they will be like illegal aliens. All the engineers. They'll have an influx. They'll be, they'll be making chapatis, talking about the good old days in America when they were stealing money from the U.S. government, you know? So, what are you doing here then? What really brings you here? What is your spiritual desire?
Just to get purification.
Yes, that's why we're answering the way we're answering. To purify you from all of this poisonous type of thoughts and desires. This is the medicine, to hear the truth. Right, in modern so-called modern civilization, everyone says, oh, education is everything. We were also brought up like that. And then no one's peaceful, no one's happy, nobody's satisfied, or they're creating stuff which is meant to destroy people. They have so many military people now, they're coming and they're realizing they got basically tricked into fighting in all of these wars on behalf of these globalist demons. They lost limbs, they lost brothers, sisters, friends, family. For what? Over what? So it's almost everything that we were all led to believe is true is completely opposite. And the Great Awakening means coming to the reality of the actual situation in this world. It's all a lie. Almost everything we're taught from the beginning is a lie. Wrap your head around that one. And as more and more truth comes out, then you'll see, wow, we got seriously scammed, cheated by the authorities, the educators, the government officials who brainwashed the families and the communities for generations. None of it is beneficial. None of it is honest. None of it is correct. The whole thing is faulty. Prabhupada said the whole thing is a scam. The whole thing is faulty. What are you trying to perpetuate? You really believe? Right? You talk to any honest person who's gone through this whole thing repeatedly, they'll tell you the truth. Ask any honest Grihasta, they'll tell you what Grihasta ashram is all about. Sorry. Just think about this. Krishna is allowing it to happen in such a way that you will never ever again ask for it. So what does that tell you about it? That at the end everyone says, I'll never desire that ever again in any life ever again. So how great can that be? My Guru said Grihasta ashram will make you cry. This thing's burning up. Fricasora is burning up my computer. This is the truth of the matter. The parents don't want to hear it. The wives, the husbands who are attached, they don't want to hear it. It's all unpalatable, disturbing. They don't want to talk about that. They want to be in Maya. They want to perpetuate Maya. They want you to be in Maya. Their sinful desires and future depends on you. That's just the reality of the situation. They have no faith. They're not serious about spiritual life. They cannot hear anything. They have no liking. Completely brainwashed. Following the rituals. Following the, the dogma of religious organization. The whole thing is a scam. The whole thing is based on the cheating principle. We're just getting cheated, scammed out. You really believe all of this propaganda by Maya? You really believe it's going to make you peaceful, happy, and satisfied in your life? It's all vanchana. It's all cheating. Dhamma artha kama moksha. Are you desiring moksha? Yeah. Are you desiring moksha? The lonely warrior. You don't want moksha? Not anymore? He got brainwashed. Krishna brainwashed him. Now he got strength, so now he wants more money and sense gratification. He said, I don't want moksha anymore. So at first I thought, oh, he wants just bhakti. But then I thought, oh, maybe he's like not done yet. Not done chasing money and sense gratification. So that means he's being degraded by this conversation. It killed his desire for moksha. Any other thing? So no family, no friends, no education, no job. What else can we take away from you? What other special mercy can Krishna give you today? Is there anything left? How's your health? Oh, my elbows hurt. It's not that great. Oh, I might lose it. Oh, I got some pain. Yeah?
Health is good.
This is good. Yeah, it's a question of, do we want to be devotee or not? Our Maya is basically testing us to see how serious we are. And Krishna is watching. That's the whole point of this experience. We're spiritual beings having a material experience. So now it's up to us. Are we going to properly use our minute independence, or are we going to squander it? Are we going to maximize the benefit of the human form of life, or are we going to risk it? Do we really think we can please and pacify and make everybody happy in the material world, including ourselves, without surrendering to Krishna? You still believe that? You still have faith in that? You're going to satisfy your mother, your father, your brothers, sisters, children. How? If you're not satisfied, how are you going to satisfy them? I'm miserable, but I'm here to make you guys happy. Thanks, but no thanks. My misery is better than your misery. You have more heavy misery than me. You can't help me. Any other points, questions? Hare Krishna. Yep. I should give Grihastha Ashram lectures. What do you think? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't I be good at that? How many days do you think they'll let me lecture on Grihastha Ashram in ISKCON? Or how about position of women in Vedic culture? I think I would get assassinated by the women. The women are stronger anyway, you know? They're more scary now. Misha. Before they used to be kind of shy and soft and humble, and now they're like pumping iron, you know? Lifting weights. Yeah. They're gonna take over the world, man. Krishna's gonna take over the world. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. I have such a question that our acharyas like Srila Gaura Swami Maharaj, they prescribe to pray Lord Shiva because he can bestow the spiritual perfection to personality.
They can bestow what?
Spiritual perfection.
Spiritual perfection.
And I have such a doubt that may it so happen that if I will pray Lord Shiva,
Just chant Hare Krishna, Baba. My God. Keep it simple. I'm confused how I should pray to Lord Shiva. Just chant Hare Krishna. Then everyone will be happy with you. It's like more simple, you know? Right? You can't convince, you know, Lord Krishna, but you're going to convince Lord Shiva of that which you're not convinced about. Lord Shiva, I'm not convinced I really want this, but can you help me get perfection? And then the whole process is there. We're not even paying attention to that because I got to figure out how to pray to Lord Shiva without cutting off my flesh. Are you feeling, is all of these classes making you want to just fully surrender to Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva himself is going to the Lord right about now, isn't it? That's where we're leaving off for the next class. The last thing we thought about is Lord Shiva running to the Lord, trembling, fearful. No shelter, no protection, under complete threat from such demons. So just no other way, no other way, no other way. Just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Automatically results from karma, jnana, yoga. Everything automatically comes if you do bhakti. No other way, no other way, no other way. Just come together, associate with like-minded devotees, hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha, try to make Vaikuntha, make that Krishna might want to go there. If we're sincere and serious in our hearing and chanting, Krishna may appear there. If he appears there, then it becomes Vaikuntha. If we're all hearing and Krishna not coming, then what is the point of all of this thing? We're just sharing our jnana. It's like these big lectures and meetings they have, symposiums, right? We're just sharing our jnana. And then everyone just, you know, acts puffed up and I'm a doctor, I'm a PhD, I'm this, that. Are you a PhD? He's a PhD in welding. No, that's Rishi. We have to keep it real simple. It's complicated enough, isn't it? That's right, just pay respects to the demigods. Don't disrespect them. Be respectful and go chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They'll be happy with you. You water the root of the tree, oh, everybody else will be happy with you. That's a secret of success. Keep it simple, focused. Don't get caught up too much. All right, does that answer your question? Sham, it's so simple, isn't it? Any other questions? Don't cut off your heads. That's the purport of this class. That won't help you. We need mercy. With no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti, nothing. Pray to Lord Nityananda, Mahaprabhu, they're very, very merciful. Krishna is very strict. My Gurudev used to say, Krishna is very strict. Lord Nityananda, Mahaprabhu, they're more lenient, they're more liberal, they're more understanding. The last limit of mercy is there. Krishna already will not take you seriously. And Lord Nityananda, his devotees will still try to help us, encourage us, drag us, force us, persuade us, so many different ways. But we're so dull, so caught up, so brainwashed, bewildered by this so-called advancement of modern education. These people are just basically the greatest demons taking charge of the educational institution and the political realm and just literally indoctrinating and brainwashing and contaminating every soul that comes through that system, whoever has any contact with them. And that's what we have to avoid, and then try to spend the rest of the life trying to get purified from all the nonsense and poison and misunderstanding that has been programmed into us. It's a very deep-rooted problem. Generational problem. Life after life, you talk about generations. How about life after Janmi, Prabhu said. Life after life problem. Just chanting a little, inattentive namaparad. We're even inattentive in our namaparad. That's how bad we are. I don't even know what I'm desiring. I'm just chanting. I'm just following. My mind's disturbing me. Well, what are you thinking about? I don't know. Well, what's your mind telling you? Nothing. So we're so out of touch with reality, and you need more education? Would you say that you have some education, right? You finished like 5th grade? You got a degree? Who stole your money? I'm so bad on it. It's like, ooh, every time he sits in front, he just walks away like, ooh. That's why all the time I ask Sanatan, you're an engineer? That's scary. That's scary. Would you drive on a road that that guy made, or in the vehicle that he designed, or you know, would you plug in anything he ever made? Like, what kind of engineer are you? He's the engineer of chaos. He takes very simple, straightforward instructions and engineers the hell out of it. The engineer of mental speculation. Knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously. I'm so confused. Nothing is clear. Everything is the weight on my head. That's engineering. This is what you've engineered. His father drives trucks, right? That's like a really kind of simple job, right? You just drive some truck. He can't even get a job with his father. The father said, okay, just sell some rice, you know? What kind of confidence does your father have in you? When he just said, just go sell some rice, you know? And it's like some simple person in the field, right? I've studied your psychophysical nature as your father guru. And my instruction is you should just sell some rice. Cheap rice. Not even good rice. People don't care about good rice. A bigger profit on the bad rice. Profit margin is a little higher. Thank you for coming from Mayapur. He's about a week behind, so we had to quickly speed him up. This guy's, if I say one more word, you're gonna die. It's like this line, right? It's supposed to be like this, right? He's like almost flatlining, you know? So we keep preaching until it almost kills him, and they said, no, you're doing all right. Oh, okay. Everyone, thank you very much. I'm always happy to have your association. And it's been very interesting. Don't ask to crack head and kill people. Don't cut off your head. Don't offend the demigods, or your mother, your father, grandfather. They'll be chasing you. They'll be hunting you, chasing you. You'll end up having to go to Vishnu to get free from them in the end, you know? Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhakta Binda ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. Jai Prabhupada.